Welcome everyone to Children's Books and Adult Discussion. Today we're discussing Yertle the Turtle by Dr. Seuss. But first, some housekeeping. This is, of course, the adult discussion on the lessons we can grasp from children's books. As we expand our thinking, we so too expand the thinking of the children that we teach day to day who are learning from the examples we set. Like, share, and subscribe on our YouTube channel, Aroara Info. Check us out on Facebook, Aroara Info. If you would like to donate to keep more videos coming, please use our Cash App, Aroara Info. That's $ Aroara Info. Okay, if you would ever like to suggest a book, feel free to message or send an email to aurora.info@gmail.com. So without further ado, I'm going to get into the screen share for the read aloud. Story again.
Okay. Look at my eyes, Ava. Ava, look at me. Oh, you did it. You make it loud.
SAMHSA, Yertle the turtle.
Okay, you got hush,
A nice
You
little
gonna watch
pond.
TV up on
It
your
was
room.
clean. It was neat. The water was warm. There was plenty to eat. The turtles had everything turtles might need, and they were all happy, quite happy indeed. They were, until Yertle, the king of them all, decided the kingdom he ruled was too small. "I'm ruler," said Yertle, "of all that I see, but I don't see enough. That's the trouble with me. With this stone for a throne, I look down on my pond, but I cannot look down on the places beyond. This throne that I sit on is too low down. It ought to be higher," he said with a frown. "If I could sit high, how much greater I'd be. What a king! I'd be ruler of all I could see." So Yertle the Turtle King lifted his hand, and Yertle the Turtle King gave a command. He ordered 9 turtles to swim to his stone, and using these turtles, he built a new throne. He made each turtle stand on another one's back, and he piled them all up in a 9-turtle stack. And then Yertle climbed up. He sat down on the pile. What a wonderful view! He could see almost a mile. "All mine!" Yertle cried. "Oh, the things I now rule! I'm king of a cow, and I'm king of a mule. I'm king of a house, and what's more beyond that, I'm king of a blueberry bush and a cat. I'm Yertle the Turtle, oh marvelous me, for I am the ruler of all that I see." And all through that morning, he sat there up high, saying over and over, "A great king am I," until long about noon, then he heard a faint sigh. "What's that?" snapped the king, and he looked down the stack. And he saw at the bottom a turtle named Mac. Just a part of his throne, and this plain little turtle looked up and he said, "Beg your pardon, King Yertle. I've pains in my back and my shoulders and knees. How long must we stand here, your majesty, please?" "Silence!" the king of the turtles barked back. "I'm king, and you're only a turtle named Mac. You stay in your place while I sit here and rule. I'm king of a cow, and I'm king of a mule. I'm king of a house, and a bush, and a cat. But that isn't all. I'll do better than that. My throne shall be higher," his royal voice thundered. "So pile up more turtles. I want about 200. "Turtles! More turtles!" he bellowed and brayed, and the turtles way down in the pond were afraid. They trembled, they shook, but they came, they obeyed. From all over the pond they came swimming by dozens, whole families of turtles with uncles and cousins. And all of them stepped on the head of poor Mac. One after another, they climbed up the stack. Then Yertle the Turtle was perched up so high he could see 40 miles from his throne in the sky. "Hooray!" shouted Yertle. "I'm king of the trees. I'm king of the birds, and I'm king of the bees. I'm king of the butterflies, king of the air. Oh me, what a throne, what a wonderful chair. I'm Yertle the turtle, oh marvelous me, for I am the ruler of all that I see. Then again from below, in the great heavy stack, came a groan from that plain little turtle named Mac. Your Majesty, please, I don't like to complain, but down here below we are feeling great pain. I know up on top you are seeing great sights, but down at the bottom we too should have rights. We turtles can't stand it, our shells will all crack. Besides, we need food. We are starving, groaned Mac. You hush up your mouth, howled the mighty King Yertle. You've no right to talk to the world's highest turtle. I rule from the clouds, over land, over sea. There's nothing, no nothing that's higher than me. But while he was shouting, he saw with surprise that the moon of the evening was starting to rise up over his head in the darkening skies. What's that? Snorted Yertle. Say, what is that thing that dares to be higher than Yertle the king? I shall not allow it. I'll go higher still. I'll build my throne higher. I can, and I will. I'll call some more turtles, and I'll stack them to heaven. I need about 5,607. But as Yertle the Turtle King lifted his hand and started to order and give the command, that plain little turtle below in the stack, that plain little turtle whose name was just Mac, decided he'd taken enough, and he had, and that plain little lad got a little bit mad, and that plain little Mac did a plain little thing. He burped, and his burp shook the throne of the king. And Yertle the turtle, the king of the trees, the king of the air and the birds and the bees, the king of a house and a cow and a mule, well, that was the end of the Turtle King's rule. For Yertle, the king of all SAMHSA, fell off his high throne and fell plunk in the pond. And today, the great Yertle, that marvelous he, is king of the mud, for that's all he can see. And the turtles, of course, all the turtles are free, as turtles and maybe all creatures should be. The end.
And we're back. All right. Thanks for joining us, Gloria. Her audio is connecting. Sorry, guys, you missed the intro before. I know you all are home, probably except Gloria. What is the plan for tomorrow?
You said, what's the plan for tomorrow?
That's just part of the icebreaker. I know your kids are home, so it's not like a break for you, because that's a holiday
Oh, okay, gotcha.
for Labor Day.
Yeah.
It's just another day for me. House cleaning.
Yeah,
House cleaning.
that's what it is. To me. I mean, unless somebody in the family do a cookout or something, or you know how black people do.
Yeah. I mean, if I know someone that's having one, I'll sure come over and get a plate.
Yeah. Go.
Okay, well, first, the book had a lot to unpack, especially for the time it came out in. It's, to me, the message is really basic, even though I saw a lot of comments on, how deep it can go. But I decided to kind of focus on more of the simple ones that could directly, be picked up by kids. But let me get to you guys. What's your opinion of the book?
What's my opinion of the book? Wait a minute, hold on it. Trying to see everybody. Video. Wait a minute. What's going on?
Just a
Oh, damn.
reminder, we are going to be live for the next few minutes.
Your glasses, Ava.
Okay. But I know you're trying to stick to, like you said, the basic, but that
Go
reminded
ahead.
me.
Feel free. Feel free.
But that kind of reminded me of Manifest Destiny.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Let me see. How did I was thinking. Just basically how whatever the turtle saw, he thought he should. And that's basically what Manifest Destiny is, that the US came up with in order to you know, rule other
Basically
territories.
justify what they did. Yeah.
Justify, their actions to rule other territories. And that's what that really reminded me of. And also learn to take care of yourself before you try to take care of others. Because instead of the turtle, trying to take care of himself, well, Mac, that's what his name was. Instead of the Mac trying to take care of himself, he was focused on, helping the king and listening to what the king had to say, that he sat there and suffered for so long until finally he burped and was like, I can't take this anymore. You should never let it get to that point.
Agreed.
But yeah, that's it.
Lucy?
Dang, y'all so quiet. I don't hear nobody saying
I joined late. I'm sorry.
I'm
I
hearing
made
crickets.
it finally. I finally here.
No, I'm letting everybody give your critique of, of your own on the book.
I was giving my critique, and y'all started talking, so I shut up.
Talk, woman. Dang.
No, as I was listening to them,
Crickets.
it took me back to the civil rights movement. Basically, everybody's hurt until one person decided to speak up and then took some action, which was involuntary. And I think a lot of the actions started off in the civil rights movement as involuntary. They were in pain, they were suffering, they were tired, and they had to make a change. It also took me back to this country, the powers that be. No, you're because I say do this. And then, the lower class people moan and groan until something changes. That's basically my opinion.
Go ahead, Gloria. I'm not sure which band you're on.
I was trying to log on for the last few minutes, so I don't know which one I'm on either. I don't know. It doesn't matter. But I really like Yertle the Turtle because it highlights so many social.
Hi, Nick.
Hi.
Zoe.
I was going to say hi, Mommy.
Hey, Zoe. But it illustrates so many different social issues. Just piggybacking on what Lucy was saying, the civil rights movement, not only that, but women's empowerment movement, the matter movement right now. It's like the people and then education, definitely because the pressure of society gets so heavy that they forget about the little men on the bottom. But if the little men on the bottom start acting up, it is going to change the whole paradigm of everything. And that's what I was saying about COVID-19 right now with educators. A lot of educators can't teach right now because they either have COVID or they're quarantining. But nobody stopped to think if the people on the bottom, if educators said, F this, I'm not going in there in large numbers, they would have had to change the way they did education during COVID-19.
Facts. Trying to see where to hit first, where to throw the first target. All right, my first highlight was bullies, because we have a lot of different names for what the king represents, but that's something even a child can understand. And it doesn't matter if it's online, in politics. A bully just wants, to be on top. They hurt people physically, socially, because they assume those below them are weak. So that when I first like looked at it, that was one of the first things I picked up to translate to my daughter that she could grasp easily. Like that's a bully. It may not look like the bully you see or hear about on the playground or see in cartoons, but that's a bully. And that's a bully type behavior.
Speaking of bullies, it makes me think of the governors of these states not respecting mask mandates. It really makes me think about that. How, Lois, I'm gonna call you back. Stop cussing. I'm online. I'm gonna call you back. Bye. But it really, I'm so sorry. I know you're recording, but it really makes me think about these governors in these states, and it also makes me think about women's rights when it comes to having babies and birth control. Like you go back to the beginning of Yertle the turtle, right? It says everybody was happy, everybody was good. We all good until the king decides that, you know, I want more. Never did he ask, what do y'all on the bottom want? Never did anybody ask, what do women want collectively? Nobody said that. Nobody said, what do teachers want? What do children want? What do parents want? All these people, you know, somebody at the top, not listening to the people on the bottom, just say, hey, I'm gonna tell y'all what I want and we all gonna make it happen. So just like you referred it back to that imagery of a bully, it's very much bully mentality, and we teach kids not to be bullies, but all I see in politics is a whole bunch of bullies.
Facts. Even, I mean, another, of course, huge highlight was the power of one. It only took one. You could topple an empire with just one. One, basically, I mean, in this situation, involuntarily sparked the rest, but naturally, that's what happens. They inspire the others. Just like you were saying, if all the teachers band together to demand what they wanted, it would be a huge movement. But it takes one, and I'm sure there are many, not to say that there haven't been things that have been being fought for and are still being fought for that just not getting enough attention. And therein lies some of the issues with social media. But the power of one can change everything. I mean, that's what changed a lot of what we see as normal today, especially when it comes to civil rights. All those martyrs that pretty much paved the way for all the things we take for granted now.
You know what I thought about? I just thought about something. If you go back to the beginning of the text, right? It says like, he started with an idea, the king, right? Bully, started with the idea. But then he persuaded 9 of the turtles to build his throne. He persuaded 9 to stack themselves on top of each other, right? And then once you, like the power of one, but it works in the reverse too. It works the other way. So
absolutely.
Once you following it, this whole COVID thing has really got me into some conspiracy ideologies, and this is why I say this. One, we know that there are FERPA and HIPAA laws out here to protect your identity, your medical records, to protect all of these things about us as individuals, right? So now 1 or 2 people comply, I'm gonna get the shot and I'm gonna show my card at work to prove that I am fully immunized, right? So a few people start doing it, a few people start getting $100, $200, $300. Now those few people have started a greater movement and they don't understand what rights are going to start being taken away, because all it takes is one court case to set a precedence to change the trajectory of the rest of the laws. For instance, there was a point in time when white people and Black people could not get married, right? People were going to jail left and right for just getting married. It took one case where a white man was like, I want to marry my slave. I want to marry her. You know, not slave. Slavery had ended, segregation. It was illegal to marry Black people. And it took a Black man tried to do it, but his case was thrown out. Then a white guy came up and was like, yo, I want to marry basically my property. And that changed the trajectory of interracial relationships for the rest of the American, we're right here right now, and you can marry interracially. So it works both ways. That the power of one, if you can get one sheep to follow you, the rest of them will. If you get one sheep to say, I ain't doing this shit, then it'll spark more of them to start saying, I'm not doing it. It works both ways.
Facts. Facts. That was what I was going to lead to with the importance of feeling important, because Yertle had Mondo self-confidence. That's how I'm going to put it. And in what he presented to those first few followers, which basically built, his superiority for the others. We can barely hear you. Try to unmute, Lucy. I saw it come up, but it still says mute, but it was making sounds on your end. Oh, I think we lost her. Something's going on. Okay, so what I was getting at was that basically Yertle had to create this false sense of reality for himself in saying, I own a cow now. All these things that made him important in other creatures' eyes, but in reality don't really exist. Something we kind of see with Manifest Destiny. Like, that's my right. Like, no creature should inevitably have the ability or the power to own another creature or be ruler of, but that's the society we're in. I still can't hear you. Are you trying to speak, Lucy?
No, my signal went out because I was sitting up under the shed.
Okay. Go ahead. You can follow with your point if you have one.
No, I mean, you're pretty much all hitting the same topic, so that I'm thinking of. So all good.
So, and in that one was probably the only point I had a difficult time trying to relate to a child or on that level, because it's a bit complicated for an adult to kind of understand and then break down to kind of, I know you want to build a self-confidence that won't have that powerful one kind of leading people in the wrong direction. But it's hard when you have the stuff that we have now deemed as important, or what makes you important this day and age. Likes, physical outer appearance, stuff like that.
Nat, did I hear you correctly when you said Yertle the turtle is difficult to break down for children?
No, the last point I was making on the importance of feeling important, but at the same time, Yertle was creating a false sense of reality that he used to influence the others in the beginning.
And I know we've had this conversation many, 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 many times before, but this also plays back into that capitalistic ideology that we have here in America. It plays right back into that. How in the world are you going to let a bunch of turtles get on your back to elevate one man? You get what I'm saying? And then not only that, the man on the top is being mean to you. He yells down the stack, yo, shut up. Be quiet. I own the cow, the cat, the chicken. I own all of these things because you elevated me here. So capitalism will tell you the person on the top of the totem pole is the one to admire. the one that is, you know, great because they have the most things. But it is a false sense of reality because we all really actually own nothing. Everything can be taken away from you in the blink of an eye, a tornado, a storm, a financial collapse. You built all this wealth and stuff, and it can disappear in a matter of seconds. And just like in the book, where I think the turtle burps or something,
Yeah.
and the whole stack comes tumbling down. But I said all of that to say this. When we look at capitalism, capitalism teaches us the more likes we have, the more followers we have, somehow or another, people equate that with power, but it's a false sense of power. What kind of power you got? Then they started calling people to give them a sense of self-esteem. You're an influencer. Oh, you're an influencer. Now you got a title because you're an influencer. All you doing is getting likes and shares. You get what I'm saying? But who and how are you influencing? And it doesn't even matter how. So it works both ways. Self-esteem, there's one thing to teach your kids, like Yertle, you were talking about earlier, how he has this great self-esteem. Let's really think about it. Why do you need to have everything to be happy? Why do you need to own everything? Why do you need to see everything to feel important? Another thing we need to question about American ideology: get the bigger house, get the better car, get the PhD, be called a doctor. But then at the end of the day, we all still that turtle at the bottom, because somewhere in your life you feel like you right at the bottom, no matter how much you acquire. So it is a double-edged sword. You can look at it from both perspectives, but as an even especially when you talk about raising children or trying to promote self-esteem in children, we have to be very careful, because I know I raised my kids. You got to get the degree, you got to graduate, you got to be at the top of your class. Then they got there and it's like, okay, I'm here, so now what? It don't change the inner person. It don't change how you truly feel about yourself because you gained a possession or you accomplished something. So we need to start investigating the depth of the human spirit. Why do we need to own all of these things to feel important? Why do we have to have 15 degrees to feel important? That's just my perspective.
Thanks for joining us, Angelique. Yeah, we're all knee deep in, kind of thigh deep. You want to add to the conversation on your review of Yertle the Turtle, if you can remember it?
I didn't read it.
I know you missed the read aloud.
Yeah, I didn't. And I know I'm familiar with the name of the story. I just can't remember it because I haven't read it it's been decades. But I did hear what Gloria said, and I thought that was very interesting. Sometimes the things we value, we put so much effort into attaining them, and then when we do, it's like, now what?
Facts. So you can see that throughout the story too, because every time he reached another height, it wasn't good enough.
Yeah, it's never good enough. Like our souls always, they're never satisfied. It's the same reason why people don't stop at two or 10 or $1 million. They go to even at $1 billion, they don't stop. Even when they have more than what they could ever use or need, it's not enough.
There was another great point that Gloria had made that we had actually been discussing recently in another group, which was the power of one. That was one topic. And then the laws that basically change life as we know it because of, the, effect that one group or one person had on the rest of the world. In particular, she was discussing the ability for Black and white couples to get married and how that came about.
Wow.
One court case. I wish I had a site for that, but I don't. I'll probably add it.
Oh, are you talking about Loving?
Was that the name of it? Versus.
I don't remember their first names, but it was like Mr. and Mrs. Loving.
I think it was Loving versus the state of North Carolina, I believe. Is
There
it
you
North
go.
Carolina or? I believe that's what it is.
It
Because
could be.
that's where they was trying to get married. Because they had to move. Huh? Wait, Gloria, are you there?
Yeah, I'm right here. I'm listening.
Okay. What was it you had asked? You had asked a question about the majority. What was your question again?
I don't remember, boo.
You had said something about why is there power in majority or something like that? What?
Oh, I need a pencil and paper to write this stuff down. But I don't remember. All I know is that when, like the influencers, they start, one person starts doing something, like you can see one prank video, right? Then all of a sudden, all the kids are eating Tide Pods.
Crates. People walking on crates now.
Yeah, that one hood ghetto Olympics and people are jumping on, walking on crates. Now everybody doing the crate Olympics. So the thing about the group thing is I want to be careful in what I say because I know sometimes but I want to be very careful when we are influenced. We have to think about the why. Why am I doing this? Why am I attaining this thing? And even with influencers, and y'all know I am really addicted to TikTok. I love some TikTok. But even that, the trends, why is this a trend? Why are we following this? And then that goes back to like the self-esteem. I'm looking at one of the pages in the story. Oh shoot, my phone. I'm looking at one of the pages in the story, and all I could think of is self-esteem. And when your self-esteem is jacked up, you don't understand it, but you are actually affecting your children's self-esteem. And what made me think about that is when it starts talking about, like, he was like, get more turtles. And then they were like, the uncles came, the aunts came, mamas came. Like, nobody's even questioning it. Nobody stopping the question except for one little turtle. One little turtle. Saying, yo, my back hurting because it's at the bottom. My back is hurting. I'm trying to find that page where it was like, all of these people started following. But as far as to address your question, Destiny, I don't remember, but I know we need to start really investigating the group, and especially in light of, I'm a conspiracy theorist all the way, especially in light of COVID-19, how we doing education, how we're doing like some laws that are sitting on the books right now to be passed. We just follow it, and they know. That's why I appreciate the people who just make you question. The people who just make you question it, because it's to a point now where you're not even supposed to question authority. Excuse me. I know you're recording. Man, get out of here. Get out of here. We need to start questioning things and asking for some valid evidence on why are we doing this.
Okay, so in the book, you said, we said that Mac made the difference. But do y'all really believe in the real world that it only takes one person to make a difference?
I do.
I think it takes one person to light the spark, but they cannot do it alone. But it can take one person to have an idea and to share the idea and to inspire others.
Because look
I
at
agree with that.
King. I agree because the king was one person. He got 9 people to follow him. One person with 9 people to follow him. But he sparked the idea, one person. Then on the flip side of that, one person, Mac, the little low guy on the totem pole, one person had the idea. So Destiny, no, you can't accomplish the whole goal by yourself. I don't believe that. I don't do that on my job every day. Like, I'm the loudmouth that gets written up. When I be like, I'm not doing this. It don't make sense to me. This doesn't resonate with me. I'm not doing it. Then I get in trouble. But everybody will come behind. I agreed with you. I agree, but you ain't meeting, sis. You ain't say it in the meeting. You ain't say it in the after it don't work, after I verbally and publicly didn't agree, then when it goes back around, they be like, well, Brown said that. Well, if you would have supported me when I first said it, because the idea was there. But no, in theory, what you're asking, I don't believe that you can make the end goal by yourself. But you can, like Angelique said, you can spark the idea.
But
I mean, yeah, our history is full of the ones that I guess, made the book because of something that they did, but they inspired the movement that followed.
okay.
Also, I told you I really respect Dr. Seuss' game. I was really mad when they was talking about they were canceling him for having racist imagery in his books and stuff. But also you have to think about the context that he wrote this story. What was going on in America? Okay, so I researched it just now. Yertle the Turtle was written in 1958. 1958. So you have to think about the cultural context, what was going on in the culture in 1958. So you got like Brown versus the Board of Education swarming around. You got Martin Luther King marching around. You got Angela Davis out there in the streets. You got the Black Panther Party formulating. You got food stamps and welfare introducing itself to the scene. You got a whole lot of social issues going on at the brink of 1958. So in 1958, America was changing a lot because the racist South was being altered by the sparks of a few ideas of Black people. The South was being altered, the North was being altered. So I think Dr. Seuss was revolutionary, and he made these concepts he made it for adults, I believe, but to the point where a child could understand. Because once children start to say stuff to their parents, I don't know if y'all notice, things really change. Everybody is against the gay community until they can't come out gay.
Going back to what I originally said, that when I first heard the book, I mean, I read it many, many moons ago, but as we were going through it, when they did the audio play, I said, as soon as I heard it, it just reminded me of the civil rights movement. And another point, and my brain just went, God, dog it. It's squirrel. But
type it in the chat. When you have a squirrel moment, you got to type it as soon as you think it. Type it in the chat.
But yeah, I said when we first finished the book and y'all asked me my opinion, it took me back to the civil rights movement. And also, you have to take it back to the context of, and the content of when he was writing and who he was writing for. And now my point came back. I think Dr. Seuss wrote it to children because it's just like Pastor Darrell said, you got to get them young. If I want these points made, I got to hit them young, because only the young people are going to take note. And then, like you said, they're going to take it to their parents. Like, nah, this is nonsense. I don't agree with this. And if they keep saying it loud enough and long enough, that's when the change starts occurring. And the older people start talking like, yo, my son brought this up. Oh, yo, my kid said that. Like this whole COVID-19 moment from day one, Devon was like, Ma, it's about money. It's going to take more money for the medicine. It's going to take more money for, the experimentation. You're going to pay more money. The government pays more money if they say you died of COVID. They were just classifying everybody's death as COVID at one point just to get the extra funding for the hospitals and the medical bills and all that stuff. So it just takes one person, and it's normally a younger person, to pose that question, like, why? And then the spark is ignited and it takes off from there. But no, one person normally cannot achieve it alone unless they got money backing them. That's me. That's it. Bye.
Explain Jane Elliott.
As Lucy was talking about the civil rights movement, and I was reflecting on the book was written in 1958 by Dr. Seuss. Jane Elliott was the white woman who was a teacher, and she did an experiment with the brown-eyed children and the blue-eyed children. And so in her classroom, she changed the rules and she segregated, because she had an all-white class. She segregated the children by their eye color. And she told them that brown-eyed people were smarter, Brown-eyed people deserved more privileges and rights than blue-eyed people. Blue-eyed people were not as smart. And she conducted the study in her classroom, right? Well, when this study was finally published, the kids were outraged. They were outraged, they were crying. They were clearly able to understand the disparity between, wait, we were just friends yesterday. This teacher comes in, makes this law, and now we're against each other. She easily segregated them based on eye color, right?
If you ever get a chance, y'all watch that video. Those kids were in despair and turmoil.
And look, it only took one person.
And
but
she did that study for 2 days. First, she separated the eye color. Then she told, say, the brown-eyed children first that they were smarter or whatever. And the blue-eyed children started feeling dumb. They actually started failing. They were like, they couldn't focus. They couldn't pay attention. And then the next day she switched it where the blue-eyed children were dumb. And they started treating each other accordingly to what she said. So, yeah, it just shows you. And I think Dr. Seuss makes those points with his books. He just didn't separate. He just made you aware of the entire social, I guess, things that were going on in society at that time. But watch that video. You can Google it. It's a good video.
So I'm hearing herders and sheep.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, a lot of these kids nowadays are followers. They don't think individually, they don't think for themselves. Like y'all said, start a challenge. Next thing you know, and no matter how dangerous it is, these kids are doing it. Like, who the hell is going to do a quick challenge? Did y'all see some of the people like they broke their spine when they fell?
But see, with this whole following thing, it's money.
It is.
It's money. So that's why when y'all say, oh, these kids are nothing but followers, they're followers for the money. Because when they see the first initial person, of course, the first one who does it gets the most money. Because they thought of the idea first. You know what I'm saying? But once everybody else follows suit, then everybody else gets some money. You know what I'm saying? Everybody get a little change in their pocket. Same thing with the influencers. The first person, ooh, look at the waist trainers. Now, everybody else promoting the waist trainers. Everybody else getting a cut of the pie. You know what I'm saying? It's all about the money. Everybody makes a profit. The influencer, right. The website that the influencer is
about
on.
to say it's the websites and the platforms that's really getting the money.
Everybody is getting a cut. You know what I'm saying? And so that's why, I think that's why a lot of kids now are followers. Because it's all about the money. Before social media, the decisions you made were personal. They weren't for the public. So those decisions you made, I guess, how can I say it? It mattered to you because it was your life. You know what I'm saying? But now that there's social media, whenever you make a decision, a lot of people put it on Facebook. You know what I'm saying? And once you put it on Facebook, it's a decision for the whole public. It's not just you anymore. It's everybody. So before, when you bought a waist trainer, oh, I bought a waist trainer. But today, when you buy a waist trainer, you get on Facebook, I bought a waist trainer, you took a picture, ooh, this picture got like 50,000 likes. Facebook, ooh, her picture got like 50,000 likes. The product, ooh, her picture got like 50,000 likes. Then they start sending free stuff. Then they want you to, it's all about the money.
You want to get to a root to the problem, chase the money. Follow where it's coming from or where it's going to.
Oh, here you go.
I just think everything y'all said, right? Everything y'all said has to do with self-esteem. Because everybody knows that the average influencer is not rich. They are perceived to be wealthy.
Close it.
They look wealthy because companies have given them Gucci bags and the waist trainers and have them take pictures in the eyelashes. A lot of influencers, a majority of the influencers are not rich. There are one or two that crossed over and were able to get, endorsers. They were able to get brands or create a brand. But it's that perception of wealth. And when you come, there is a great article about Jay-Z. When Jay-Z was broke, busted, and disgusted, he had on all jewelry. He had on all the latest everything, gold dripping up his neck, rings on every finger. Jay-Z is now a billionaire, and he dresses so poor. It's about self-esteem. And in America, we have been, I want to use a different word, but it's not coming to me right now. I was thinking about brainwashed. I'm conditioned, brainwashed to believe if we look well, then we're internally well. And that is a lie. That's a lie. We can look good on the outside, but be trash on the inside. And it goes back to Yertle the turtle. Let's investigate the inside. And I know a lot of people are like, give an F about why he's wrong, he's corrupt. Why is Yertle the turtle in need of creating freedom? Why does he need to own it? Why are these governors, they don't care nothing about the people they govern, but they need to get reelected? Why? Why are you seeking reelection when you know your job is to be for the betterment of the people? No decision for the betterment of people. The government down in Texas is trying to promote a drug, a drug for COVID-19 that has been banned by the FDA for human consumption. It's for horses. But he's promoting it. There are doctors who are losing their doctor's license selling fake immunization cards.
The COVID, yeah.
The COVID cards. And it's like, what inside your soul has motivated you to not, and people were like, well, people need religion to know right from wrong. People need, the Bible to know right from wrong. I think we all have an innate sense of right and wrong. Most people, 90% of the population can tell when you hurt somebody's feelings. 90% of the population.
I would agree. The Bible even says that we know the difference.
Right. We innately know the difference. God is love. He birthed us out of love. So anything that goes against love works bad on the conscience. That is opposite of love, makes us feel some type of way in our soul. But because of conditioning and brainwashing, we stop paying attention to our experiences of love. Because we have been, well, who the hell said get on a crate? And you watch people fall off the crate. You're whenever I watch it, y'all know I get that feeling in my bottom area when I see gross.
Oh, stop.
I'm not gonna say it out loud, but y'all know how I feel when I see gross stuff. You know me long enough. That's my innate sense, that God-given ability to say that's just wrong. If I get that feeling, that's just wrong. I'm not getting my black behind on no crate. I'm not doing it. Why? How is it that other people are so corrupt inside that they need to prove a point by getting on the doggone crate? And it's the same thing. What made them turtles get on top of each other? What kind of self-esteem you got to keep getting on top of each other with no benefit to self?
Yep. Let me find out Dr. Seuss had the crate challenge in mind before we even thought of it.
I only saw about 3 of them. By the third one was with the guy who did fall on his back. And it was like, that just made me cringe. Or I didn't know what happened to him till after, but it was just like, you could tell, when you see hurt and you feel hurt, in most people, like, I can't take this. And for someone to keep watching that, you conditioning yourself now to just be numb to something like that.
Yeah. I think I watched 2 or 3. And then it was like, they started getting like higher and higher. And I'm like, if y'all saw the results 3 crates high, why would you go up to 5 and 10? Yeah, I couldn't watch it. I stopped watching them. I just scroll right past them.
Mm-hmm. And I do, like, the first 2 I looked at, I watched it a couple times because I was looking at the person. The first one I saw was actually looked like old people. And I'm like, why would somebody do that to these people? Because you could clearly hear it was like younger people in the background egging them on. And it was like they were clearly either homeless, maybe they would probably get money for it. And it was just like, this is just sad. It's just sad.
Oh.
And then another one I saw where it was a girl, a really big girl who just I don't know. Maybe she got paid for it too, but you could just tell her
That
as
girl
a
looked
person.
slow. She looked slow. It was like she was coerced into that or something. She didn't look like she had the right stage of mind to be like, I ain't doing no crap like that.
Possibly. Possibly. But what about all those around her and the person holding the camera who knew that? But it'll be a new viral trend in about a week. That's the society we in right now.
And I just typed in the chat to remember my point as y'all are talking, so I can really pay attention to what you're saying.
What is that?
We all have mirror neurons. So when you watch something on TV and the characters are elated with happy, and then you get happy, it's a thing in the brain. The human brain will mirror the emotions around them if you have a healthy brain. So if you see happiness on TV, you get happy. If you see people being aroused on TV, you become aroused. If you see pain on TV, you will actually feel pain. But somewhere down the line, we've become very numb. But mirror neurons really work. They use it on children all the time. You can see it in doctors' offices when they trick the kids when they're getting the needle, and the doctor is like doing the balloon or something, and the kid doesn't even notice that they got a needle because they're laughing at the doctor or whatever. That's a effect of mirror neurons in the brain. And I said that to go back to every point that y'all have been making about following the challenges and stuff, where we are just spiritually bankrupt as a world. Humanity has become spiritually bankrupt for money. Everything it goes back to money. And it takes me right back to Yertle the turtle. It wasn't until the pain was unbearable, until it was just so bad. He was like, yo, this hurts, this hurts, this hurts. And then finally he burnt. He did a human thing, he burnt. He burnt. And the whole stack came crumbling back down. And then if you follow the end, I'm trying to find, I keep finding the page, and today the great Yertle, that marvelous, he is king of the mud. That is all he can see. And the turtles, of course, all the turtles are free as turtles, and maybe all creatures should be, right? So let's think about these people who they put on a pedestal. I'm gonna try to think about some people that have been put on a pedestal. They were lifted so high in their humanity. And then now where they at? Because social media will love you today and crush you tomorrow. It will crush you. So right now the crate challenge is popular until somebody dies, and then anybody who promoted the crate challenge is they're gonna crush all the platforms that did it, even though we're celebrating it right now.
Gloria,
Go ahead.
if somebody died doing that challenge become more popular. I don't know if you noticed, but
At first.
Nowadays,
Again, but the people
it's a death involved. All of a sudden, everybody got to look at it. Everybody got to.
That video is going to become popular, but I want you to think about the comment section. I mean,
Right.
The video will get popular, but the concept, people are, I can't believe you stood there and recorded it. I'm telling you, you are on the throne one day in this civilization, and then you'll be on that throne for a little bit. Look at all of our most famous artists. Look at people who come out with new things at first. You give it a year, 2, 3 years, 4 years, they in the doggone mud. Because like I said, media will show you love and then they will crush you like a roach.
When you were talking about money, it's making me think of a video. and it just harped on value of things, and something we definitely need to take a closer look at in every respect, not just like with money, like in spirit, in what you own. Everything has the value we give it. With that, just like words and people, it's what you give power to. I want to share this clip really fast because I thought it was funny, and it's related to money, of course. 1 second.
Else is tied to earnings, GDP, interest rates, etc.
The Bitcoin is not tied to anything.
Well, neither is U.S. dollars, and how big is your cash position?
It's the one and only Digo Double G.
The Jurassic Classic.
It was a really fast clip. I don't know if y'all caught that.
Oh, you played it already?
Yeah, it was so fast. I'll play it again. Hold on. It was one really short part of it that I was trying to like capture, but I'll swing it back and let it play through a little bit more.
Get it. Everything else is tied to earnings, GDP, interest rates, etc.
The Bitcoin is not tied to anything.
Well, neither is U.S. dollars, and how big is your cash position?
It's the one and only Digo Double G.
The Jurassic Classic.
How much of your own dough is in it?
Yeah.
That's so
My net worth's in
He's
Bitcoin.
mostly
I don't
talking
plan to
about
sell it.
cryptocurrency
That's
right
insane.
now.
What
What about all the
matters.
other crypto crap?
We'll call it.
Lots of other coins.
I believe Bitcoin is the king and is going to stay the king for a very long time.
Can y'all hear me?
Okay, not. I can hear you.
Okay. Y'all remember when we went to the African village?
Yeah.
And you remember that couple who made the healing stuff?
Say that one more time.
You
Okay,
remember
yeah.
that couple? It was the wife did painting and she made healing medicine.
Oh yeah, at the table.
I remember, yes, I do.
Years to get out of there.
Okay, so me and Erica went back there one day, you know, just for one of their festivals. And the guy, the one whose wife made the medicine, he was saying some very important things that people don't pay attention to. So he was pointing out the fact that the dollar doesn't have any value. It only has value because the government says it has value, but it doesn't have any real monetary value.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? Stop.
The dollar.
So
is
that's the
organic.
same thing that guy was saying in that Bitcoin video.
That is very true, Destiny. And I
Yeah.
that as I was trying to navigate through my retirement plan and thinking about, okay, how am I going to buy my house and how am I going to do this and do that in the future, you know, secure my future for retirement. And then I really realized there is nothing backing up the American dollar.
Nope.
When the American dollar first started, it was backed
So
up.
what they say, it's like
It was backed up by
note,
gold.
like a promise, like I owe you. That's what it is.
Yeah. So the dollar bill is nothing but an IOU, and it only has power because we give it power.
Yeah, we did. Speaking of which, my bad to interrupt, but we need to go back. That guy was spitting some facts. He had invited us back to his house and stuff, and we said we was gonna go back. That guy was spitting some facts. If y'all was sitting there, y'all would have been like, "Wow, this nigga got some points."
But that's the reason why they don't want you to know about holistic medicine. Our government, your heart hurt, they give you a pill. Your foot itch, they give you a pill. They do not
Right.
want
It's
holistic
harder.
medicine.
It's harder when things are natural. It's more readily available. It's more easily accessible. When
They
it's
can't
not,
patent it.
it's made. It's easier for them to sell it and make cash. When it's natural, it's harder because it's so easily accessible. Anybody can get it. So you're not gonna make as much money as you made the product yourself. You know,
But do you realize that what the government has been doing with holistic medicine also. Pretty much all of you guys should be familiar with sassafras, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Okay, now get this. I came down here. You could find sassafras anywhere, anybody yard, walk in the woods and find it. Well, one day I parked my bus. I said, I'm going to go get me some sassafras. And the bus driver said, you know that stuff is against the law. I said, why? They told me it caused cancer. I said,
baloney.
Wait a minute. I said, hold up. If it causes all that, I've been drinking sassafras out of a bottle. My mama would give Gloria and Thelma bottles with sassafras in it.
Bottles with sassafras. It don't have no cold because that's what
Well,
you
wait a
drink is
minute.
sassafras.
So when I went and I looked it up and I researched it, it was made illegal, saying that it causes cancer. But you got one person has to drink like 5 gallons a day.
They twist the
But wait a
facts.
minute. Because the government couldn't patent sassafras or imitate it, imitation sassafras, they outlawed it. They were burning the damn sassafras trees down so that you couldn't access it. If they found it, they burned it. So it is really hard. Now we have a sassafras little patch out here that my dad would take the tractor and dig up.
Certain plants
We never told anybody about it, so it's still a little, kept secret. But if I was told that if the county found out, they would dig it up and take it.
Is that her house?
You know what's gonna happen at some point? Because they already have strict regulations on certain crops anyways. But at some point we'll have drones that will fly over and be able to recognize things and either report it somewhere so it can be destroyed or drop chemicals on it to destroy it in the future. That's crazy. That's like, I found out that dandelions, they make people think it's just weeds and pull it up, but actually dandelions have a lot of medicinal properties.
That thing is so good for your body. Most stuff they'll tell you, like even if you tell people, I don't want to go to the doctor. I see a homeopath right now. Personally, I see a homeopath. I would go to the doctor. I'm depressed or whatever. He will offer me the happy pill. I have a drawer full of happy pills. I'm not taking that. I saw a homeopath maybe 3-4 visits. And okay, anything natural is going to take a little bit more time because you got to get your body, it has to get into your system, basically, circulate through your entire system. I ain't gonna lie. My endorphins are on point. Everything is on point. I don't need that crap. And I told Tony, but I'm gonna keep the pills. He said, why? So I said, if I kill you, I have to say I was on drugs. Anyway, just joking. Just joking. I know you're recording. But anyway, yeah, they're quick to give you some imitation or things our bodies can't even digest properly because they're not real. They're made of all these substances that your body can't even digest. And you wonder why, okay, if I take this, it's gonna make me feel better. But in the meanwhile, you know how they give you the final little blurb at the end? It's gonna cause hair loss, this, that. The fingernails gonna
diarrhea, upset stomach,
oily buttholes.
because they're not telling you your body can't. They're not telling you your body cannot digest that crap. It's gonna change your chemical balance, but your body can't. It ain't no good for your body. It can't digest it. Okay, my rant is over. Bye.
One thing that Lucy just said that reminded me of an experience I just had in the past week, which is kind of slightly related, but not really. Like it's like a thin thread of like health. I did not pack lunch the other day to bring to work, and I decided that I could afford to treat myself, and I was gonna buy lunch that day. So before I went outside, I went to look at a couple places to see what was on the menu so I could just go in there, get my food and get out. And I don't remember what it was. I went to some sandwich place and I had seen something. I was like, ooh, that looks good. And then I noticed they had like this little salt shaker thing, like an icon near the menu item. And I was like, what the hell is that? So I like Googled it. And apparently I didn't even know this was a thing. Since 2017 in New York City, restaurants have to put that icon to let customers know that item exceeds the daily value of sodium. And I'm like, why don't they just make it where they can't make things like one sandwich is more than what you're supposed to have in a whole day of sodium? Like, why are they even allowed to make it like that?
because they make the food addictive for you to keep coming back. There's
also high blood pressure.
Yes, I think it's on Explained how they make food addictive, and you come back and you keep eating it. You know it's not good for you. Your body's not digesting all the proper, nutrients it needs from it, and then you go around and you wonder why you're fat, you have high blood pressure, you have diabetes, your hair falls out, because nothing in that food was any good for you to begin with. You might get 1 or 2 trace nutrients. Like
it wasn't even, the funny thing is, it wasn't even like a fast food restaurant.
Yeah.
And the sandwich was it had turkey and avocado and cheese on whole grain bread. Food. And I was just like, wow, they really.
It don't have to be fast food anymore. It's in the food. When you say, I don't know, back in the day, my mom would go buy like a block, say, of turkey because we had a home slicer. Okay, that block of turkey was not salty. Go buy a pack of turkey now. You could just, and your mouth is full of salt. It's in the food, and they'll classify it.
Well, yeah, with that, they actually soak it. I've seen them. They soak it purposely. Yeah, that's their way to preserve it.
Oh,
and then they package it. Yeah.
Yeah. If you ever read the ingredients on tilapia, one of the ingredients on tilapia is carbon monoxide. I'm like, what the freak? Right. Make the face. Make the face, because when I first saw it, everything goes on Facebook, Instagram, whatever. I'm like, they lying. That's a fish. I went right in Walmart, picked up a pack of tilapia. First ingredient, carbon monoxide. Baby, we not eating this no more. When it's the first ingredient, you know what that means.
That's the most prevalent thing.
Exactly. So how could a fish, the first ingredient, be carbon monoxide?
Which is like a gas. It's not even a solid. So exactly. I didn't even end up getting that sandwich. I actually went and looked at another restaurant's website, and I had the same problem. And I'm like, it's over the daily limit of the sandwich was like 2,090 milligrams. It was like, forget it. I ended up getting something somewhere else.
You'd have been better off getting a slab of beef jerky.
I mean, I might as well ate a bag of chips in the Slim Jim. It would have been the same.
Yep.
Even some of these salads and stuff, like I'm looking at the ingredients and I'm like, why? Or like, why is it so fatty?
Yep.
It's like, no matter how you do it, let me try to get the light dressing. Let me get no dressing. All right, let me see about this option. There's always something, the sugar, the salt, the calories, the fat is, and I'm like, why?
Because they're making, okay, think about this. Do you realize sugar is as potent as cocaine? It has the same exact effect on your brain. They did a study where they had one person consuming sugar and one person doing cocaine. They did the MRI scan. The same areas of the brain that had the same effect. And when they crash, it's the same effect. Stop eating sugar for a week. I guarantee you're going to have cravings for sugar. I promise you. Because they put it in everything. Even your salty foods have sugar added.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And vice versa. Salty foods have sugar and sugary foods have salt.
Yeah.
Like those sweet cereals we eat, like the processed cereals that we eat.
They got a lot of sodium.
Yep.
I did not know.
And it's not even like a sea salt or anything. It's a chemical sodium.
I did not know that they put salt in the cereal.
Yes. And you sitting there eating Frosted Flakes not knowing it had a high sodium content, right?
And Frosted Flakes are already very sugary. I was actually upset because I want to say it's been like 5 or 6 years now. They had a version of Frosted Flakes that they didn't replace the original ones. They just made another variety that had 1/3 less sugar. And I thought they were so amazing. And I bought them like once and then could never find them again. And it was like, that just shows you when they try to make healthier versions, people are so accustomed to the taste. The other one, they can't make the adjustment.
Yep. It's addictive. It is addictive.
Y'all made me think about something. This morning I went out to eat with a group of people, and this lady was talking about her grandchild, and she said to me, she was like, my grandchild had a peanut butter. You know how you start introducing the new foods, like, oh, you get carrots, get this, but then they introduced peanut butter. And the poor baby has such a bad reaction. He swelled up real big, got the little spots on the face and stuff like that. But, they told them, don't bring them into the ER, COVID. So give them Benadryl. They waited 24 hours and it kind of went away. It wasn't 100% cleared. He had some applesauce, threw up. I said all of that to say this. all of them were at the table. We were all in our 40s or higher, right? Everybody at the table, 40 or over. This was the funny thing about it. Everybody had developed some type of food allergy in adulthood. They've been eating shellfish their entire life. Now they're allergic. I've been eating pineapples my entire life. Now I'm allergic. So they were on the table talking about what they're allergic to. Now that goes right back to this conversation. What are you doing to our food and why?
I can tell you that's a real thing. I somehow developed a salmon allergy several years ago, like out of the blue. And I also have had friends who can no longer eat certain fruits that they used to eat with no problem. Cherries, apples.
Mm-hmm.
I know people who've magically become allergic to like onions or just other, like finding themselves things that they used to eat, like certain fruits that have fuzzy skins they can't touch.
That's why I hate.
It's Frankenfood.
I know a woman, if she eats fruit, she has to go to the emergency room.
Any fruit?
Any fruit.
That's upsetting.
Even if it comes out the can, she cannot eat it. Because I thought she was playing at one point, and her kids was like, oh, no, don't let my mama eat that. They said it would kill her. I'm like, wow. And she ate fruit as a child.
And y'all want to know something? Most things that come naturally from the earth, everything that is natural is mostly water. We are mostly water. So now that our fruit and our vegetables are poisonous to us, that lets you know that it is not nature doing this. It is a man-generated thing.
It's not natural. It's GMO now.
Right. But what I'm saying is it fosters, you said earlier, Lucy, follow the money. Follow the money.
Yeah, definitely.
Allergies. I'm struggling with high blood pressure now. And
you making the big
all
tree.
kinds of stuff. I'm doing all kinds of stuff. What I'm saying is it goes right back to following the money. If our people are unhealthy, we are going to make more money off of them. Let's make their food addictive so they get fat, they get heart disease, they get high blood pressure, they develop food allergies. Not too long ago, I was in the doggone ER, and I just had a regular meal.
You want to know something?
And I was like, what in the hell?
It's more profitable to take care of sick people for the next 30 years than to have a world of healthy people.
Or aging people, like we're seeing now.
Yes, it's more profitable that way. So yeah, they alter a lot of things, and kids are getting rashes and stuff even off of fabrics.
Mm-hmm.
Cotton fabrics are that, and cotton's supposed to be 100% natural fabric in the world. They're getting simple rashes off of ordinary things. And that's because they're chemically altering a lot of things. And what they're also doing is speeding up the process. Like, for instance, with chicken, just say chicken, for instance, they're giving these chickens growth hormones so they can produce a chicken in 21 days or whatever.
Yep, from chick to full grown.
Right. And then you eat that. Lucy, and then what do you think you're digesting?
Did you see the Super Size Me guy made another documentary called Super Size Me 2 Holy Chicken? Because he deconstructed the entire chicken. Yeah, it was, and some of those chickens, first of all, they're overweight, and some of their hearts burst because they can't pump blood effectively.
Some of those chickens look like little dogs. That's how big they were. I was like, what? Them chickens were looking like little dogs as big as they were. And I'm
plant-based.
And we're eating that. So you wonder why little girls are getting their periods in 2nd grade now.
Oh, wow.
Yes. As a matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken, my sister got a period in 3rd grade or 2nd grade. One of them, 2nd or 3rd grade. Now, I know a couple of girls. One girl I worked with, it was her granddaughter. She was getting it in 2nd grade, and they chemically did something. They were giving her hormones or something to stop it. And I said to her, are you sure? Because the hormones that she's eating is causing it. Well, she didn't believe me. So she actually went to a doctor, a homeopath doctor, who told her, like, yes, she eats chicken every damn day. And then you wonder why her period started in 2nd grade. And now you're going to give her another altering hormone, testosterone of all things, to stop it. change her
That's gonna
diet.
have other effects.
Exactly.
A small girl with testosterone, like, yeah, it's gonna stop her period, but it's gonna do some other. Ooh.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry, you just made me
testosterone
think of Living Color.
Stop.
You did that sound amazing.
Wait, I used to love it when Destiny did that. Oh my God. Stop. But yeah, I mean, right now, me and my kids made an agreement that we're putting $100 a week away. And we're starting the garden. We're starting our own farm. Because you can't trust nothing. You really can't. So we're gonna experiment a lot because we know pineapples don't grow here. But I was reading some stuff up.
Greenhouse.
You can grow them in the house. Right.
Yeah,
all of those little tropical things you can grow in your house, and then we're gonna grow in buckets.
You know what's funny too? This is like, remember, Annette, me and you had the conversation about the hydroponic plants, how like they're doing that to try to whatever reasons, but it like that also changes how the food tastes.
It does, because it's natural.
Well, also because there are things in the earth that can affect how something grows and affect the flavor. But if you're growing something in just water, there's certain nutrients and things that they don't get. Or maybe you might add things to the water, but it's not the same as it growing in the dirt.
That's
true. I mean, there were other factors to that as well. One, it's in the house. You know, your house plant is going to grow differently than your outdoor plant. And all those environmental factors does have actual like major effect on not just the fruit, but or the leaf, whatever you're growing. But the quality, a lot of, just like a person, I don't know if I told you before, what they have to deal with outside, you kind of grow a barrier to protect yourself. The plant does the same thing. You know how you build a thick skin for people who get on your nerve. The plants do the same thing for bugs, you know, weather and whatnot. And that's for instance, what makes a collard green a lot stronger than say a piece of like lettuce, which over time will harden as well, but it's a lot tougher because they don't have the same pests that attract either. You're not getting that in the house. So most of the stuff you grow in the house is gonna be way more tender because it doesn't have to fight for anything. It's getting all the light it could ever want, all the attention. If as long as you have airflow, you're good. It's gonna be softer. It's gonna be tender. It may not be as big just because of the limited space, because it's a plant and you might not think about it, but they have a sense of their environment. Right. Exactly. So
I mean, when I got sick, I did move the garden inside, and I noticed that. I did notice that, but you know, we grow the grapes. When we have a really bad rainy season, grapes taste like water because it's just too much water in the soil. And like she said, when you grow things as water as opposed to growing it in their natural environment, it's going to be a taste different. But I'd rather take that risk than eating something GMO constantly.
Absolutely.
I also feel like they've added things to the environment that they can't take back.
That too.
Oh, I want to say about 10 or so years ago, Monsanto actually sued a lot of small farmers because their crops tested positive for a variation that Monsanto had engineered, and they had never bought products from Monsanto. But it was like, that's really jacked up. You want to sue them, but you're not taking into account that you introduce something into the environment. There's something called pollination that bees and birds and wind and other animals carry things around. And it's like, you can't be mad because somebody else's crops are now a version of something, and now you want to sue them because they're growing your crops without permission. You put it into the environment, you release it. You can't take it back now.
You make me think about those mosquitoes that they release that you can't take back now.
It's funny that she said those bees and stuff, pollinators, because you can barely find any butterflies now. You barely see any bees. I want y'all to notice, like, insects are really down. I don't know.
I mean, also, we use so much pesticides, even people on their lawns.
Yeah, like
I have quite a bit, and I have I did used to use pesticide. No, funny enough, I was against it. And then I asked Grandpa what he used, and he was like, You know that same crap that be on TV that say don't use because it give you
Yeah.
cancer.
It
He's
gives you
talking about he been
cancer.
using that forever.
Lord.
And I was like, I didn't know at the time the cancer part because I did buy it and I was squirting the weeds, not around the food. Then I saw that and like that was a wash. So then it's just like, you know, I'm a home farm. I'm not like a large scale farmer. So I don't have to deal with, you know, decimated crops and losing a lot of profit. I could take the time to pull by hand, pain in the ass, make my oils, find other plants to plant around my stuff to help. That's the thing that, you know, as Americans, we don't want to be bothered with all that extra.
But you have a more organic garden. I just noticed in South Carolina when I first came here in the 2nd grade, like the crickets were so loud it would keep you up at night. The frogs were so loud. It was like crazy loud. Now you barely hear any animals at night.
Wow.
True. That's true.
You don't hear anything.
I sit on my
The
porch
last
at
time
night.
I heard a frog, I almost damn near died. I was like, oh my God, a frog. When you used to see frogs everywhere.
I live near a pond and I barely hear frogs. Like I said, when we first moved, you can hear bullfrogs, especially just before it rains.
Which is crazy because I have a pool and the frogs love to hang around it.
I'm telling Angelique, you can hear bullfrog, like just before it rains, the frogs go crazy.
And they be so loud, like you will wake you
like
up.
they're telling you it's gonna rain. But
Yeah.
now, no, you don't.
You
No.
can't hear anything. You can't hear anything. South Carolina.
See, and there's people who will tell you that you're completely nuts. You're imagining it. There's nothing wrong with the environment or the ecosystem. And it's like the signs are all around us.
Yep.
I want to challenge something that was said earlier. Like it's more profitable to keep us sick. Facts. It supports capitalism, right?
Yeah.
Sick, poisoning our food. All of those things are factual. I agree with that. But I just want to spark this in our minds, right? Imagine a healthier society. Imagine a society where people don't depend on blood pressure medication, that our children are not suffering an epidemic of obesity. Just imagine that. Now I know that we're getting a lot of money from the medications and the therapies that are all not natural. But imagine if we flip that coin. Imagine the productivity and the creativity that humans could do if we were healthier. And I think that's this movement that has started with holistic health. And Net shared in another group, the lady, she's like, it's a Black lady. I cannot think of her name right now. Her name is slipping me, but she has talked about feminine health, how to decrease like your painful periods, how to like lighten your blood flow, meditation, depression. She talked about so many different ways to heal the body. Now imagine as just women, if the women in our society were healed. Imagine what we can do. Women are beasts at almost everything. Imagine if we did it without pain. Just
without what?
Pain. Like being in pain from the food that we're eating, being in pain from everything being poisoned. And she just came from what is that lady's name? I'm seeing her face, but I cannot remember her name.
There's quite a few. We have Beverly, Angie, what? Getting wet
You let the dog lick you.
What?
Ew.
He's not licking my mouth.
Still,
I don't know what's up with the licking of the dogs. Oh.
He going in. Oh God.
Her face must be
I can't remember nothing now.
But it's a lady, and she wrote a book out in the 60s or 70s. And everybody called her crazy then in the 60s and 70s. Now in 2021, she has started
dirty, Angelique.
Feeling she has these like camps and stuff now. She was on the Red Table. She was on Red Table and something else. But just imagine a world where we weren't in pain, we weren't depressed, we didn't have debilitating periods. Imagine how productive we could actually be if we didn't have those things.
That is a great homework I think I'll do. Just for fun. Like,
Oh,
what
I just Googled
would that
it.
be like? Huh?
Queen Afua.
What?
I
Yes,
Googled who
that's
was
her.
on Red Table Talk. I just put
Yeah.
holistic woman Red Table Talk. It said Queen
Oh,
Afua.
Queen of Food. Okay, yeah.
Yes, couldn't think of her name, but yeah,
I've heard of her.
she really goes in about yoni health, but she has her son wrote a men's book, wellness and healing, and not only just healing holistically our bodies, but healing relationships, healing the way we think. Like
What?
I believe that
Back
their
up.
capitalism is going. Y'all can do the research, but no society has lasted long without falling apart. And I think Dr. Seuss was trying to tell something to America then too, because we are old as a civilization. We are very antiquated as a civilization, and Rome fell apart, in a certain amount of years, and America is reaching the brink of that if it has not already expired. And a lot of conspiracy theorists have been talking about the collapse of America, like somebody's about to take us over because of all the corruption or whatnot. But I just want y'all to think, if we could heal one family, just like one turtle, if you can heal one family, that will have a ripple effect, and it'll affect all the families around you. Like, I can't even pronounce her name, Ufume, whatever. She's trying to do that in the Black community.
Afua.
The fact that you are, aware, I'm aware, Angelique's aware, Lucy's aware, Destiny's aware, and we're affecting our children. It's coming. It's coming. Nature's wheels grind slow but sure. It's coming. As long as we remain steady and keep those influencers out, because it's quite easy to go down a rabbit hole. I kind of do it every day. Get online, just but for the most part, what you set forth in your household and what you don't allow others to take from you or to change about you makes a difference. And it gets hard because even on my little plant-based journey, man, let me pass on a barbecue. It's hard, y'all. It's hard.
Then you get the oxtail,
Even
you
that
got the jerk
cheeseburger.
chicken.
No,
Right?
I didn't get the oxtails.
Yeah, I know.
Just want a cheeseburger every now and again.
But it's in that, you have to do your own soul searching, your own kind of, for me, it's prep. When I'm not prepared, I'm kind of privy to, all the influences around me in terms of food. I mean, but that's anything in general. If I left my house hungry, everything I see, of course, is open.
Yeah.
And it's harder to say no when that's your only options. Also, I'm trying to learn to fast. I got a text today about a very good technique in fasting, which was to start the night before. So, it's before you go to bed and you count the time from the last meal you had to when you wake up, and then maybe a few hours after that, which is doable. And it's not a big thing. And it's not, to me, it was not a new concept. And it's just like, it doesn't click for some reason. It's like when you feel sick and you know that it's because you ate too much or a lot of something you should not have had anyway. And you just think to do it in the day when you're up, that is frustrating and agonizing. And you up in the morning, or if it's in the afternoon, and everybody around you is eating, you smell the smells. It's real hard to just say, I'm gonna not fast. Actually, it's easy to say I'm not gonna fast. It's hard to say, nope, y'all, I can't have that right now. It's more likely, I'll take just a little bit. But it's prepping and then developing a routine, because the same thing that we kind of do day to day, that was conditioned from your parents. You have to now condition yourself in the same way. And it's so hard. That's self-conditioning. That's the future I see when you were referring to, like, if all of us women just, change everything and how the world would look. That's the hardest part, conditioning yourself. Yes, it's easy for us to condition the children and people we have influence on, but if you aren't strong in, the path that you're trying to show others, it's not gonna work. Everybody knows I'm an early bird for the most part. I'm places early, I'm up early, even for no reason. But I'm known for that and I'm consistent with it. It's not every single day for all of my life, but it's something I'm consistent with because that's what I was trained to be like.
Yep.
Now it's training to fast, training to meditate when I'm feeling high strung or ill instead of going to the doctor. It's training to, do all that good yoni cleansing and self-care when I'm feeling like my system or my hormones is off. It's even recognizing that because we don't take the time to recognize, ourselves sometimes. You go into another professional to tell you about you. You're supposed to know about you before that. There's some things, professionally they may have over you, of course, but you should know yourself beforehand. Otherwise, how can someone give you a happy pill?
Yep.
You should you know yourself. You ain't taking no happy pill, like you said.
Yep.
That I feel like
I
those
just
are the two
needed it.
things.
I needed the happy pills for the receipts. That's all.
I get you. I got a drawer full of things too. But I remember my doctor, one of them, like a while back, I was talking to her about some just like social emotional issues that I was realizing was affecting my health. And it's like there's nothing that someone is doing to me or that I'm not doing. It's just like it's in my head and I see how it's affecting my body. And oh my God, the laundry list of things I could have got, but I didn't get. Just like take this, take that. Oh, try some CBD oil. They were willing to write that prescription for everything.
Yeah.
I took advantage of a few things, but most were just like, and I'm gonna cut the cord right there because that's going to my permanent record. So, but it was like, and I took none of it. I took none of most of it went in the garbage. Like some things and things that mess with my mind, I can't do because I feel like for the most part, most drugs have that effect to some degree. So something that's specifically focused and targeted on your brain that has to go through your entire bloodstream just to get there.
Yep. Yep.
Hear me? Can y'all hear me?
What you said? Yeah.
I gotta go.
You gotta go.
Okay. I'm gonna wrap up. I did want to throw something else out there
now.
before we go. Give me one minute because I'm going to stop recording and then we're gonna go on something else.
Oh, for real? Wait. Okay, wait. Hold on. Hold on. Let me speak and then I'll come back to my truck. Okay.
Okay.
So just hold on for a minute. Wait.
That's so silly.
Wait a minute.
No, I'll wait for the other part, but I'm just close this out for the book.
Okay,
But
go ahead.
thank you guys for coming to Yertle Turtles adult discussion on this children's book, and hopefully everybody has a little bit of something.
There's another kid.
Oh,
Destiny mute.
I muted her. And hopefully we are able to take this back to our children and relate it in a way to help them continue to grow in a positive, well-rounded way. I'm going to prop out our first read aloud because it was going on before Destiny came on and I restarted. And then I'll post it this week. If you guys want to add more links, let me know. I put a couple in the Facebook page. The 19th, I have another book. Just come on, light, work with me.
Tilt it to the side just a little.
To the side.
Other way. No, you totally gone now. Totally gone now.
Okay, I gotta lean back. Okay.
Yeah.
Just because. So I got one in the mail. I shared a link. So if you guys want to check that out, want to grab that before the 19th. I have to look up the legalities of me reading this and then posting it publicly because I could not
Yeah.
find a read aloud on this. So I don't think I could do that. I could do it for us and not record that part, cut it out. But I did invite the author. I haven't gotten a response yet, but if so, then I'll go over that at that time. And if I can, I'll read it. If I can't, I won't. But it's a beautiful book. It's a different kind of tone, I would say. It's very fun. It's deep to me because it reminds me of family. Love the artwork. I think it's a good read and a good one to have for our household, for our kids. It's not a lot of books with our people like that. We're coming up there. We're coming up. But I like to get a good collection of, African American artists.